All right, let's just dive right into it. You know that feeling, right? Like you're constantly falling behind because there's just way too much to learn and nowhere near enough hours in the day to actually do it? Well, welcome to today's explainer. We're going to unpack exactly how you can exponentially accelerate your learning process using modern AI. Literally, we're building a system today that'll completely change how you acquire new information.
I really want you to stop and think about this for a second. What if you could learn complex skills 10 times faster and it only took 10 minutes of prep? Look, in the world we live in right now, the pace of tech change is honestly overwhelming. Being able to learn efficiently, that's no longer just some nice little bonus to slap on your resume. It is the absolute ultimate modern skill. If you can figure out how to learn, you win.
And that brings us to the core philosophy behind the framework we're building today. Content creator Tina Huang really hit the nail on the head. She says, stand on the shoulders of giants to learn the way that is the best proven way. Whatever you're trying to tackle right now, whether it's coding an app, picking up a new language, or getting into video editing, chances are somebody else has already navigated those exact same waters. They've had the big wins and they've definitely had the epic fails. So we're going to use AI to instantly harness all that experience. That way you aren't starting from scratch.
So here's our roadmap for the explainer. First, the AI revolution. Then, step 1, the giants. Step 2, custom plans. And step 3, execution systems. After that, we'll wrap up by expanding your toolkit.
All right, kicking things off with section 1, the AI revolution. Let's get a little historical context on exactly why this crazy rapid learning is even possible today. The explosive progress we've seen is just staggering. Back in 1997, IBM's Deep Blue beat the world chess champ Garry Kasparov. And fun fact here, the smartphone sitting in your pocket right now is exponentially more powerful than Deep Blue ever was. It's wild. Then fast forward to 2012, and this model called AlexNet absolutely crushed the ImageNet competition, which basically kicked off the whole deep learning boom. By 2014, GANs, or Generative Adversarial Networks, hit the scene. All of this, fueled by Moore's Law and just massive oceans of data, laid the computational groundwork for the insanely powerful tools sitting on your desktop today. Now, the real game changer here was deep learning. Basically, it's a branch of machine learning that uses multi-layered neural networks to capture super intricate patterns in data. Before this, if researchers wanted an AI to recognize something, they had to manually, painstakingly hand code the features. Deep learning totally solved that by automating how the system understands complex data. It allowed for models that are way more complex and realistic than we ever thought possible. And all that deep learning research? Well, it led to this massive taxonomy of generative models. On one side, you've got implicit density models like GANs, which use this sort of adversarial tug of war between a generator and a discriminator to create realistic stuff. Then on the other side, you've got explicit density models like variational autoencoders and diffusion models. And diffusion models are literally the tech powering modern AI image and video generation by systematically reversing noise. This whole explosion in generative capabilities is exactly what gives us the intelligent chatbots and research partners we're going to use for our 10-minute setup. Okay, so let's actually put all that amazing tech to work. Here is our 3-step actionable framework for rapid learning. Step 1, research the giants. Step 2, customize the plan for you. And step 3, execute with specific systems. Let's break these down one by one. Starting with section 2, step 1, the giants. This is all about leveraging existing knowledge instead of reinventing the wheel. Imagine your goal is to learn vibe coding, which is basically using AI to help you write software so you can build a slick desktop productivity app. The tool you're going to want to reach for right here is Google Gemini, or more specifically, its NotebookLM feature. So what's the action? You prompt it to act as your research partner. You literally ask it to scour the web, pull in sources about AI coding, and aggregate the successes and failures of other developers into a baseline 4-week study plan. If you did this the old way, you'd waste hours scrolling Reddit or reading outdated blogs. But with this, you get a proven baseline in seconds. Moving right along to section 3, step 2, custom plans. Because a generic plan just isn't going to cut it, you have to mold it to your specific context. To customize effectively, you got to pick the right assistant. If your study plan involves hardware or very visual tasks, ChatGPT is fantastic. For highly customized, straightforward task adaptation and coding advice, reach for Claude, which is pretty widely considered the best choice for that right now. And if you're planning on feeding the AI entire textbooks, massive piles of documentation, or just huge context windows, Gemini is absolutely going to be your best bet. All right, let's say we choose Claude to customize our coding plan. The most crucial thing here is how you structure your prompt. First, you input your baseline plan from step 1 into Claude. Second, define your exact environment. Like, tell it you're using a Mac Studio and maybe you already know a little bit of Python. Third, and honestly this is the most important part, add your personal constraints. If you know you struggle with focus, tell it to build in ADHD coping mechanisms, like frequent alerts to take a breather. You can even ask it to spit out a fun, interactive HTML file with little checkboxes. The outcome is a highly tailored, totally actionable daily checklist designed specifically for your life. Which brings us to Section 4, Step 3, Execution Systems. Because a plan is pretty useless if you don't actually do it. Seriously, what is the point of having a study plan if you don't actually do the work, right? It is so incredibly easy to fall into that trap of spending 10 minutes making a gorgeous, color-coded study plan, feeling super productive, and then doing absolutely zero real work. We've all been there. That's why we need firm accountability and productivity systems to ensure the learning actually happens. So let's systemize that accountability with a really tangible 3-part workflow. First up, use desktop widgets like a Pomodoro timer to force focused execution. Just work for 25 minutes, then stop. Simple. Second, build yourself a memory system. Log your completed tasks and your study notes directly into a knowledge base like Obsidian. And finally, utilize local AI. If you've got an AI agent running locally, you can have it query your past logs. You can literally ask it, hey, what was I struggling to learn 2 weeks ago at this time? It tracks your habits and helps you maintain that forward momentum. And if you want to truly supercharge your execution, you can automate the busy work using advanced AI agents like Manus. These things are crazy. They can literally take over your mouse and browser. For example, while you're heads down studying your code, you can prompt an agent to go run in the background, open Crunchbase and LinkedIn, research a bunch of companies, and build a spreadsheet for you, all in parallel. It totally transforms chaos into a streamlined system with just a single prompt. All right, wrapping things up with Section 5, expanding your toolkit. Now that the learning framework is dialed in, let's look at some specialized tools. If your big goal right now is to learn video creation, here are the top tools you need to know about. Descript is just incredible for podcasters and creators because you can edit a video simply by editing a text transcript. It even has this wild AI overdubbing feature. Opus Clip is your absolute go-to if you want to automatically chop up long-form videos into viral, short-form clips for social media. And for the professional editors out there, Adobe Premiere Pro, especially armed with its new AI features like auto reframe and generative fill, is still the absolute industry standard. But hey, what if you're learning to code or build software instead? Scribe is an amazing extension that instantly documents your processes and creates visual step-by-step guides without you having to type a single word. Tabnine and GitHub Copilot are basically essential right now. They're AI-powered code completion tools that suggest logic right as you're typing. Mintlify is a total lifesaver that scans your code and auto-generates your documentation for you. And finally, Find is a specialized AI search engine optimized specifically to give accurate, detailed answers to developers. Now, as you expand this toolkit, you're inevitably going to run into a strategic dilemma. Should I buy an existing AI tool or build a custom one? The rule of thumb here is actually pretty simple. Buy and use off-the-shelf tools if they cover about 80% of your needs. Honestly, it will save you immense amounts of time. You should really only choose to build and develop custom logic when you have highly unique, industry-specific requirements that off-the-shelf models just can't handle. So we've walked through the whole history of the AI revolution. We've built a 3-step learning engine that leverages the giants, creates custom plans, and establishes hard execution systems. Plus, we've completely loaded up your toolkit. So, armed with this 10-minute setup and the ultimate AI toolkit, what are you going to learn today? The barrier to entry has literally never been lower, and the speed at which you can acquire new skills has never been faster. Stop planning endlessly, set up your framework, and just start executing. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in this explainer, and I seriously cannot wait to see what you learn.